Hello there, guys. Today we are going to learn about warm and cool colors. So I created a couple of videos for you guys to watch before you started your project today. And I kind of started in the middle of my paper. I just wrote the word art with a bunch of hearts around it, and I kind of gave it an edge. So I gave mine a rectangular edge. You can put whatever you want in the middle of your piece of paper. And you don't even have to have a middle if you're not feeling like you want anything centered and kind of an emphasis for your project. I seem to like the emphasis, something to kind of draw my eye in and then work around my piece. You could have your name instead of art. You could have an object. You could have maybe like a scene, like a setting of Among Us, or you could have maybe a landscape or something. You could do anything in the center of your artwork that you want. The idea, though, is that it just stays in one color, preferably black and white, because we want really to focus the rest of our artwork on the warm and cool colors that we're going to talk about. So again, it has to have some kind of edge, and it doesn't have to be rectangular like I did. Yours could be a circle, it could be a perfect square, it could be a triangle. It could be in a regular shape, so just maybe some kind of zigzag shape all the way around. It truly doesn't matter as long as there's an edge to it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to, for me, because I used a rectangle, I'm going to take my ruler, and you don't have to have a ruler for this. You can just do this by hand. I would also suggest doing this in pencil and then maybe going over it with whatever you guys have available at home. If you do have a Sharpie, that's cool. If not, you can use a regular marker. You could use a crayon. You could do this with colored pencils. You could even paint this if you want. So I could have just left it going through one side, and then I could have a top and a bottom. But I chose to make 4 different sections just for fun. And I used my ruler, but now maybe I'm just going to kind of make some lines. The idea is to divide these spaces up because we're going to color inside of them. And notice I'm stopping at this line. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines here. I'm going to try to match them on this side. So I'm just going to spin this around, and I'm going to try to see if I can get 4 lines going this way. Okay. So now I've got the lines going, matching, basically matching the top and the bottom. And now, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom, and I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top, loosely I'm going to connect these lines, okay? And again, you can do this with your ruler if you want. It does not have to be perfect, though, so I'm not going to use my ruler. I'm just going to connect them. So I'm going to connect this line here. Here, 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 and I'm noticing I didn't get all the way to the line, so I need to do that. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to connect these lines. You can make these lines wavy or zigzag or alternating wavy and zigzag. We are coloring in between them, so don't get crazy with it by any means. But you don't have to do straight lines like I did. The idea is that we're going to divide up our paper in warm and cool colors. Okay, so any way that you choose to divide your paper is fine with me. You could always just do, like I said, a line down the corners. You could do top and bottom, or you could do left and right. Like a day would be like maybe your warm colors, and a night would be your cool colors. However you decide to do this is up to you. I'm just trying to keep mine fairly simple. So now we're going to talk about what are the warm and cool colors. And because this is the color wheel we used when we created our linear color wheel with the bottles, remember we painted in the beginning our primary and secondary colors into the bottles. And then we had a lot of fun mixing the 6 intermediate colors, which are the yellow, orange, red, orange, red violet, blue green, and yellow green. We've got to mix those in our bottles. So another way to look at the color wheel, instead of just looking at primary, secondary, and intermediate, another way to look at it is the warm and the cool colors. And there's different ideas on how to divide warm and cool colors. I like it best this way personally. So anywhere from, see how I cut it right in half, and I have 6 colors on this side, then I'm going to have 6 colors on the other side. These colors, yellow, yellow-orange, orange, red, and red violet, these colors are going to be my warm colors. So they're colors that make me think of being warm. So the sun or fire, anything that makes me think of being warm and toasty. The other 6 colors, yellow, green, green, blue, blue, violet, and violet, these colors are the cool colors. They make you think of being cold. So I'm thinking of cold water, or even like a lot of times you see these colors in a cool setting for a landscape. So these are our cool colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my crayons. And I just happen to have this box of crayons sitting right here. So you don't have to have this many colors. I happen to have all of the colors of the color wheel because I've been doing a different project as well. So I happen to have them sitting here. So what I need to do first is take out any colors that are not part of the color wheel though. So I'm looking at black and brown and white specifically. These are all considered neutral colors. So any colors that are tan or beige or brown or black or gray or white, those are all considered neutral colors. And you don't really find them on the color wheel. I do happen to have pink in here. And really I could use pink because pink is a version of red. Pink is what happens when you take red and you mix a little bit of white with it. It makes the color pink. But just for the sake of the color wheel, kind of what we're adding on to with our learning, I'm going to put pink away. If you wanted to keep pink, you absolutely could. It would be considered a warm color because it's a version of red. I'm going to put mine away. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of organize my crayons based on how I talked about the color wheel should be. So if I've got, I'm going to scoot them out of the way here. If I've got my warm colors here, then I need to grab these 6 warm colors. So I've got yellow, let's see, yellow-orange. I've got orange, red-orange. Now I need red and red-violet. Here are my warm colors. Now again, if you don't have all of these colors, that's okay. You can still do this project with just red, orange, and yellow. You can do this project if you have a lot of colors, as long as they are versions of red, oranges, or yellows. So this specific one, I have the big box of 64 count crayons. So this one is called salmon. I could use that as a warm color because it looks a lot like red. These two, I could consider these warm colors. Tickle Me Pink and Wild Strawberry. There's a couple more in here. You guys understand what I'm talking about, though. Magenta. As long as it kind of looks like it belongs in the yellow, the orange, or the red category, you can consider it a warm color. So I should have 6 colors left over that are going to represent my cool colors. So I have yellow, green, green, blue, let's see, blue, violet, and violet. So these are all going to be my cool colors. So what I need to do now is I need to decide what's going to be what. Am I going to put warm colors here and cool colors here, or am I going to do the opposite? Warm colors here and cool colors there. The idea is to mix up your art so that it's got certain parts with only warm and certain parts with only cool. So I'm going to pause my video. I'm going to, I think I'm going to do cool, and I'm going to do warm. So I'm going to pause the video while I get after this, and when I come back, I'll have a completed work. And voila, here is my art project where I have warm colors. So colors that create the feeling of warmth and energy. So these are my warm colors. And then I also have my cool colors. So top and bottom. Again, these are the calm and peaceful colors. So any which way that you decided to divide up your paper, I tried to keep mine pretty simple just so it's easy to follow along. But if you want to do something big and elaborate that looks completely different from mine, that's okay too. As long as you are showing me in your artwork that you know warm colors and cool colors. For my kids who got to stay here, I believe it was Mrs. Horton's class, we actually did penguins, and we did a background with either warm colors or cool colors, and then we drew our penguins and cut them out and glued them down, and any of the accessories on the penguin, so if they had a hat or a scarf or a necklace or anything like that, a dress, they had to use the opposite. So if you had a warm colored background, then you had to have the accessories the cool colors. Or if you had a cool background, you could do warm colors as the accessories on your penguins. If you're curious what those look like, you can always check them out on our Artsonia page. So Artsonia, Artsonia, is what you will Google, and once you find the website, you can look up Cedar Creek Elementary, and you will see the other third grade penguins if you're curious about doing that project instead of this. So I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with.